All right, gents, Carl here with Tactical Rifleman. This week we're going to talk about what kind of emergency equipment to keep in your vehicles. Now, you know my personal Jeep, it is packed to the gills. I got a winch, I've got a high lift jack, I've got all that kind of equipment. See, I'm prepared for the whole zombie apocalypse, right? But my regular family vehicle, our Suburban, it's not crazy or nothing, but again, take the storage compartments that come in the vehicle and pack it with equipment that you know you're going to need. Your tire inflator, basic toolkits, of course, first aid, jumper cables, all those things that you're going to need. Now, my toolkit I can put from vehicle to vehicle. I'm not saying you got to buy extra sets of tools. Have the basics in your vehicles though, right? Because you never know when you're going to need it, right? So that's fine. My biggest tool is knowledge, but how about when you're not there? How about when you're not there to take care of the family and you've got that family member by themselves? Like, let's say your spouse or your kids, right? You're not going to be with them when they have the emergency. I want to talk about the equipment that you can put into their vehicle. Doesn't cost a lot, it's not going to waste a lot of space, but you're really going to help that family member out. First thing right off the bat is get them a window punch. In this case right here, this is it's called a life hammer. It's spring loaded. You just push it up against the windshield, little ceramic head pops out, guaranteed to shatter the window. You've seen the videos of the cops beating with the mag lights, can't get them open. This thing will easily punch a window. It's also got a seatbelt cutter. It's got to be within arm's reach. It comes with a little mount. Put it where they know where it's at, clip it into place. It'll always be there for them, whether the vehicle's laying on its roof or not. They'll know where it's at, all right? Not gonna talk about weapons hidden inside the vehicle. We're not gonna get that deep, all right? But one thing I do want to talk about is popping the trunk. Now, you can't pack this trunk like Randy Rawhide Worse, that you're prepared for the end of the world. No. The family still needs trunk space, all right? So what you need is try to keep it simple. Here's what I got here. This right here, it's one bag. That's it, one bag. Now, where do you get the bag? That big tactical bag? This is one of my kids' old school bags. That's it, it's an old school bag. You already have it. They're already familiar with it. Pack it, put it in the vehicle, right? What's the number one emergency that people have with their vehicles? Number one emergency, they run out of gas. Huh. Well, you're not going to put a big 5-gallon gas can in their car. That would stink up the whole car. I agree with you. Got something new for you. This is called spare fuel. Right? The guy came up with the patent back in the 80s and he never did anything with it. Well, that patent has expired. Right? This stuff's non-flammable. It will not start a car that hasn't ran for days, right? But if the car's still warm, then come out, you can pour this right in the gas tank and it'll get that car moving long enough, it'll get you to that gas station. Doesn't smell at all. I've had it in the backpack. Doesn't hurt anything. Doesn't leak, all right? So right off the bat, spare fuel. Next, first aid kit. Now this is a Mercedes-Benz. It comes with a great first aid kit. Comes with a first aid kit, sounds awesome. It's got nothing in it, boo-boos and band-aids. Now that said, boo-boos and band-aids are what people need. It is. So I took this med kit, made it bright red, right, so that the family knows what to look for. I took the standard little first aid kit, plussed it up with a bunch of extra stuff that I can fit in there. But this is what they're really going to be looking for. Band-aids, boo-boos, tape, antibiotic cream, alcohol prep pads, things like that. That's all in here, nice and waterproof. And then the rest is the trauma gear. You'll recognize the tourniquet and all the other stuff that I keep in our individual first aid kits. All right? This is your family we're talking about. Would you put cheap gear into your family's vehicle? This is where your best gear should be, because you're not there to take care of the family, all right? So don't skimp on this stuff. What's the next emergency they often have. Right? I mentioned I got jumper cables in the Suburban. I got jumper cables in the Jeep also. What does that mean? That means they have to have another vehicle to jump with. What this thing is right here, this is a battery cell. All right? Again, don't skimp. Plugs right in. It's got a way you can test it on the side. 100% charged. 100%. You can jump 20 vehicles with this thing on a charge. It's got a light built into it, 2 USB ports. All right. I used to keep a crank charge, flashlight, and cell phone charger in my son's vehicle. All right. Why would I do that when this will run an iPhone pretty well forever? Okay, I can jump a vehicle 20 times with this thing. Again, you can get cheap ones. Don't get cheap ones. Get the top of the line battery charger, and they are, dude. They're awesome. They really are. Next thing, low tire. You've got that little thing that goes off on the dash, right? You've got a low tire. Sometimes it's nothing more than it's getting cold outside, right? But the reality is, if your family member's driving back and forth to college, that 3.5-hour drive, and all of a sudden they pick up a nail, cool part about these tire inflation systems is they're monitored. They're gonna let you know, hey, you got a tire going low. Cool, fine, no big deal. Again, don't skimp on it. Get a good, it's a good pump. Plugs into the cigarette lighter. Actually screws onto the tire so they don't have to stand there. And you'll notice the other thing I did was I put a plug kit in it. Not a cheap one, spend good money and get a good plug kit. All right? Now, how many kids out there, how many family members know how to use a plug kit? How many? Knowledge is power. If they don't know, why aren't they watching this video? By the way, you can go through the Tactical Rifleman archive and we've got a video on how to plug a tire, video on how to patch a bullet hole in a radiator, or how to reseat a bead. There's lots of good videos in the Tactical Rifleman archives. All right, car goes off the road into the snowbank. They've got to sit there for a while, all right? Emergency food ration. These are the ones that are approved by the Coast Guard to be in lifeboats forever. You can dump it in your kid's car, your wife's car, and it can sit there for 10 years. The stuff's still good, right? 3,600 calories. Some of these taste better than others, but again, it's not for them to snack on the way to college. Emergency blanket. I'm not talking those cheap little space blankets. Get something that's actually worth a damn. All right, silver on one side, orange on the other. You're in a snowbank, you can't get out. Bright orange. You can signal with this thing, but you can also make shelters with it. You can use it. It is nothing but a big space blanket. Keep warm inside the vehicle. Again, spend the money, get the big ones, not those cheap pieces of tin foil. I mentioned snowbanks, digging out. How about mud, right? Sometimes you got to dig that tire out. Now, put a shovel in the car. This is a little car, right? What this is the Glock E-Tool, weighs nothing, right? The handle will lock into place, and it's also got a saw that you can put in the other end of the handle, right? Sweet piece of kit. Cutting sticks to put under the wheels to get traction. There's just lots of good stuff that you can do with this thing. Shoveling snow out, all kinds of stuff. 550 cord, why? It's 550 cord. Do we even need to get into this? Gotta have 550 cord. Up front, a couple of hand warmers in the pocket. Of course, you got to have a Leatherman. In this case, brand new Leatherman Wave. Make great Christmas gifts. What the girls will tell you is probably the #1 emergency is having to pull over the side of the road. Roll of toilet paper, all right? Water purification tablets now, purifying water. Now, again, this is not a bug out bag. All right, this is not a bug out bag. This is a bag of emergency equipment. So Carl, you have water treatment, but you don't have any containers. everybody's situation is different. I don't have to put water containers in my family's vehicles because they have half full water bottles laying everywhere. I don't have to worry about it. They're always gonna have a couple water bottles. A couple of ponchos, bright colors so they can be seen, and then lots of little bottles of hand sanitizer, all right? The reason why I like to use lots of little ones is if one gets crushed or if one gets a leak, I don't lose everything. I've got separate containers. If there's 4 people in the vehicle, they can hand them out. But also, these are great for not just cleaning your hands, first aid purposes, but also it's a great fire starter, all right? So that stuff's in there. And last but not least, in this bag, in the bottom, pair of old sneakers. Why? That family member on the way to college, on the way back from wherever, 3.5-hour drive, high heels, nice long dress, vehicle breaks down, they've got to walk 5 miles to get to the nearest town. They want to do that in high heels? No. Get last year's sneakers. If you've seen my videos on my personal survival kits, my bug out bags, whatever you want to call them, you'll know I always run last year's shoes inside of them. They take 0 space at all in the bag, and trust me, if they're in high heels or whatever, Johnson and Murphy, nice pretty Sunday shoes, whatever it is, they're gonna be glad that they have it. So anyways, this is not a bug out bag. This is not a get home bag. All this is a small list of emergency equipment to keep in a vehicle, right? All fits into one bag, doesn't take up a lot of room in the trunk. So anyways, I'm looking for other ideas. What did I miss out there? I know you internet ninjas got a list of 10,000 things you like to keep in that little bug out bag that weighs 900 pounds and you can't move with. All right, so you know the deal. I read all the comments. Be sure to put the comments below and I'll get back to you, guaranteed. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so you don't miss out on anything.